Hello and welcome to Martin Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and you're watching the Morning Forecast Show. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We are talking about the war escalating once again, plus insider trading. Possibly there are reports of possible insider trading because of the abnormality of a bet put on 15 minutes before Trump's announcement yesterday. If you have just tuned in, please do hit the like button, subscribe, and hit. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was just checking something. Please do hit the like button and subscribe. We've got Vaz on next. He'll be live in about half an hour with the vertical aerospace earnings. So we've got a shorter show, but Vaz will be continuing the show with vertical aerospace earnings. So stay with us for that. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the markets, and then we'll get into our story. Let me know if you're here. Say hi in the chat. Vaz was first today, then Human Being Liz. Let me bring up the chat on the screen. Um, Good morning, everyone says Human Being Liz. Moon says good morning. Ricardo's here. Not surprised about the title, says Ricardo. I love it. Scottish Pete is here. Stevie is here. Good morning. Tidy Big Dog. Hello, hello. Rhino Skin. Jacko says good morning. Liz says, "Is this not what we knew?" Well, yeah, we guessed it, and yeah, it's happened again. It's crazy. Yolanda says, "Good morning, everyone." Liz says, "Hello, Jacko, Rhino, Big Dog." Jacko says, "No, no, Q paso yola." What that means. Yolanda says hello, Liz. Buenos dias says ascend. Pedron human. Uh, Buenos dias, Cujeros. Everyone's talking Spanish, I think. Muy bien, Dio. Dia. What is going on in the chat? I can't just be speaking Spanish the whole time. Tuno bien. CC says Liz. Hello, Mr. Sensei. Hello, Jacko. Good afternoon. Hello, Martin. Morning to you. Subwoofer says good morning. It's all so predictable, says David. Thomas Monroe says morning. Chris is here. Good morning. What's your prediction after 5 days? Looks like a nice setup for market close action again. Yeah, it does look. What do you mean? It's a nice setup for market close action again. Are you talking about volatility after the market closes on Friday? If you are, then I probably agree. I mean, Friday is sort of the deadline. Actually, Saturday might be the deadline. We are seeing it always sort of out of hours, so it doesn't shock the market. So maybe on Friday or this weekend, we get a ground invasion. And that would shock the markets and that would be against what Trump's been saying. But maybe sometimes we have to look at the obvious. Someone just said it's always so obvious. Well, the most obvious thing right now is there's troops heading towards the Middle East, ground troops, paratroopers. The troops you would see initially go into a ground invasion, and then the ones that would come in and secure the ground with more heavy machinery, they are heading there now. They are on track to be there in the next few days. So just like a few months ago, we saw all the ships heading to Iran, and everyone said, "Oh, it's just a scare tactic, and it's nothing to be worried about." Well, it was right in front of our face, and we mentioned this. A war is probably going to break out, and it did. I don't think they're just sending these troops there as a scare tactic. I think they're going to deploy them. Um, and if they don't, it doesn't matter. We invest in the market and we can benefit. But if they do, what we need to be is prepared and have a way of benefiting from. Again, no one likes war. War is bad for anyone. But if we're looking purely as market participants, we want to benefit from the volatility that will bring. Terrible thing to say, I know, but as market, let's just take away the morality of it for a second. And as market participants, we would want to be prepared for it, protect our money, make money, even, and that could be what's looking us directly in the face, which is more troops being sent in, a potential ground invasion, and we know that they've been planning that, and that there are plans of that. So that could be the start of this weekend. So we've got a few days until Friday for everyone to look at their portfolios, double check it, and make sure they are prepared for it, and that they however they want to benefit from this, whether they want to buy lower, whether they want to protect themselves if you've got margin, whatever your however you want to prepare yourself, just be prepared for that scenario because it's not unlikely and it's not guaranteed, but it's certainly looking us directly in the face, and we don't want to just ignore what's in front of us. They start action on the weekend, says Jerry. Big red today, says Pat. Belgium. I warned everyone yesterday. We were literally at 6,700 on the S&P 500. I warned you guys. We brought out the news. We were live at the peak of that. And I said, this is going to fade. And it's faded. We're down three. We went down as much as 3% from those peaks into the lows of the pre-market. Potato Family says, morning, can't wait for you holding your baby while doing a show. I don't know if I will be holding a baby doing a show, but thank you, Potato Family. Yeah, not long to go, and hopefully in the next few weeks, actually. 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, something like that. Jerry Mandarin says they clean the morals from the bottom of their boots, says Jerry Mandarin. And Jacko says uranium. I don't know what you mean, Jacko, but yeah, the uranium. Okay, if you guys have just tuned in, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's jump in to our main story today, taken from our very own newsletter. Remember, this weekend, Discord integration, chart analysis course. Final, I think I'm filming it today, potential release tomorrow, but everything will be done by the weekend. So that's the Discord integration, the chart trading course. And then if you haven't got the newsletter yet, you're already getting the daily newsletters, the daily deep dives, the charts, the cheat sheets, the net worth tracker, the portfolio challenge, the private community, which is getting upgraded this weekend. Integration with the Discord community, all of that. So check it out. You can get 50%. This 50% offer is not going to last forever, but you've got a few more days, and there's 3 on every show. So there you go. The link is in the live chat. So choose making sure I've gone that. Okay. Some of the top stories today before we jump in is Trump pauses Iran strikes, a 5-day halt, claimed major agreements causing massive market swings and oil volatility. The Fed reconsiders rate hikes. Goolsbee warns that war-driven inflation could force rate increases, shifting from its previous dovish stance. We've got doves going bearish. We get doves turning into hawks. Berkshire buys Toco Marine. Greg Abel initiates a $1.8 billion strategic partnership with Japan's largest property casualty insurer. Ecolab acquires Cool IT Systems. The $4.75 billion deal targets liquid cooling for AI chips, shifting focus to industrial infrastructure. Ben and Jerry sues Magnum. I thought that would be a funny story to include. Because it just sounds like a joke. Ben and Jerry is suing Magnum. The foundation fights to protect its activist identity after the parent company recent corporate restructuring. I do believe Magnum is publicly traded. Suspicious $580 million oil trade. Massive futures positions were placed 15 minutes before Trump's market moving post, sparking insider trading concerns. I think everyone expected this. I think everyone thought, well, we're going to find out about something weird behind the scenes. When that tweet came out, we know that Trump likes to move the markets with these tweets, and we always know something fishy is going on in the background because we see the data come out over the next few days. So that tweet came out. Let me know in the chat. Did anyone else, when that tweet came out, or the Truth Social post came out yesterday, which ended the 48-hour ultimatum and essentially pumped the markets 4% and dropped oil 10%? When you saw that Truth Social post, did you also think something fishy is happening in the background? Someone's is making a lot of money based off this. Let me know, yes or no, in the chat. Did you also have the same thoughts as me when I saw that Truth Social post and went, here we go again. There is someone benefiting from this behind the scenes. Did you have the same opinion as me? Let me know. Because now, the next day, we've got some evidence of some suspicious trades coming out, and I'll bring that to you now. Let me know, yes or no. Did you also have the same initial, oof, is there something going on behind the scenes with that tweet? Let me set this up. We'll make this into a video as well. I'll wait for everyone to respond. Yolanda says yes. Yolanda says yes. Yolanda's like me. We both bought that. Let me bring this down. Let me also just make sure we've got Vaz's show lined up after us because he'll be going live with the earnings. We're all excited to see Vaz live in the morning with the earnings. That will be live in about 23 minutes' time. Perfect. I've got that open. Everyone's saying yes. Yeah. Yolanda said yes. Chris says yes. Tiny Big Dog says yes. David says it's obvious. Let's be honest. It's not the first time we've seen these things happen. Yeah, it's not great though, is it? It's not. It's not. I mean, imagine if Biden was doing this, the media would be all over him. Trump being Liz, of course. Scottish Pete says, yeah, new Trump was playing tricks again. Who being Liz says, of course, they all do it, says Bradley Dickinson. David Weir, he always does it. They all do it. Yeah, they probably do, to be fair. We just didn't, maybe they did it less, and there wasn't as much evidence. But I think Trump just likes to do it in plain sight. Again, my opinion, we don't have a credible link to say Donald Trump did it, and we know exactly the evidence that he shorted it, or he specifically told people. We don't have that evidence, and these are all opinion based. But we're going to come on to some facts in a second. So, Donald Trump, please don't sue me. I'm not suggesting you're insider trading. I'm just giving my opinion that I think maybe something fishy is going on in the background, and the evidence suggests there's some very suspicious trades beforehand. I'm just reporting on the news. Donald Trump, please don't sue me. Are you jealous, Sensei? Am I jealous of immoral insider trading? No, I don't think that's a good way. I've always thought, and I've always been taught, make money the right way. If you make money the bad way, then you're going to lose that money. It's not going to be the right thing to do, and you should always try and make money the moral way. Otherwise, what's the point? So, Slaven, no, I'm not jealous of people insider trading. Certainly not. Not a good trait as a world leader, says Knocking Star. Scottish Pete's laughing. Yeah, Donald Trump, don't sue me. Okay, let's get into it. Let's actually make it into a video as well. Remember, we did have this ultimatum knocked off. It was supposed to be 40 hours, and then Donald Trump came out and said, no, it's 5 days. We're talking to the Iranians. And then there's a lot of people saying, is he actually talking to the Iranians? Because let's just read the story before we move on to the trade. But President Trump's 48-hour ultimatum to Iran. Actually, I'm going to turn this whole thing into a video. Why not? So let's go over here. Go to full screen. Make it into a video. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at the 48-hour ultimatum that Donald Trump posed, and then the markets were freaking out about, because if he went through with blowing up those energy infrastructure, there would be a massive escalation and potentially even war crimes committed. He put out that post, but he backtracked yesterday, and the markets went flying. The S&P 500 went up 4%, and then we also saw the opposite for oil. Oil dropped 10%. Well, that 48-hour ultimatum, we were expecting him to come back on that because that would have been an extreme escalation. But he came back and he said something we weren't expecting. He came back and said that they're in talks with Iran and that this war's coming to an end and that there's a deal on the table, and he's very confident it's going to go through, while at the same time sending troops to the Middle East and suggesting a ground invasion's next. So what do we believe? What he says or what he's doing? Well, I've always been a big believer in believe what's happening rather than what he's saying. So troops are being sent in. There's a 5-day sort of deadline now, but it all looks great. Trump's saying that the deal is coming and it's looking very positive. And we're talking to the leaders. They ask him, which leaders are you talking to? And he says, oh, well, we've killed all their leaders, but we're talking to someone very official, very high up. Is it the supreme leader? He goes, no. Israel says it's a specific person, and then that person comes out and does an ex post and says we're not negotiating with the US. The Iranians are saying we are not talking to the US um, in any significant way, and what Trump is saying is manipulating the markets, and and that's what the Iranians are saying. Do we take their word for it? Yes, no, I don't know. You make up your own opinion, your own thoughts. Secondly, we've had massive rumors of insider trading. Why are those rumors coming about? Well, because there was a $580 billion bet put on shorting essentially the oil markets 15 minutes before the announcement came out. There's never been such massive orders for puts on oil when there's not been a data release, when there's not been anything significant happening. This was a random, um, sudden bet put on oil 15 minutes before the release. So we're going to be talking about what are the insider trading rumors, what's going on, and also the taco trade coming back. So stay with me. This is going to be maximum a 15-minute video. I'm going to give you all the information you need to know. We don't make fake news around here. We're reporting on the facts. I'm telling you my direct opinion. We show our real portfolios on the screen. We're not like other YouTubers. Just stay with us. We make these videos during a live show, so sorry that there's not all the overlays and brilliant things going on that some of other people do, but we are giving you the real facts. So thank you for tuning into this video. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe. We do have our newsletter, which is the daily news, the deep dives. This is where we're getting the information from today. Every single trading day, 2 hours before the opening bell. Get ready for it because you don't need to listen to go scroll on X for half an hour, get news sources from all over, and spend thousands on subscriptions or hundreds of pounds of subscriptions. You just need the 5 things: the top stories, the deep dive, and the chart of the day every single day in your inbox 2 hours before the opening bell. We give you that. And not only do we give you that, we give you the portfolio challenge where I'm putting £5,000 of my own money. You get the chart training course included. You get our indicators on trading view. Again, we're not like other YouTubers. We're not selling you something that's going to make you rich quick. This is the real academic research studied chart training course. You get direct access, Discord integration. You can message me one-on-one, the private community, the net worth tracker, an app, no ads, no data tracking, where you can have your net worth tracked by yourself. I have no access to that, but it's ad free. It's a great tool. You get all of that plus more as part of the premium subscription. So there is a free subscription. Check it out. First link in the description. And right now, because we're launching our training course, we're running a 50% off sale. So the link is in the live chat. It's also in the first link in the description. Grab that while you can. There's only 3 people that can get it. So let's jump into first the news, and then we'll come on to inside trading. So part 1, what is the news from yesterday? Trump blinks on Iran ultimatum. Tehran calls it fake news. President Trump's 48-hour ultimatum to Iran expired yesterday. Instead of the threatened obliteration of Iranian power plants, he posted on Truth Social that the two sides have reached major points of agreement, and ordered a 5-day pause on energy infrastructure strikes. He claimed envoys of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner have been communicating through intermediaries in Egypt, Pakistan, and Turkey, with Islamabad floated as a potential meeting venue. Trump told reporters in Palm Beach a deal could come within 5 days or less. And if not, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out. The market swing was enormous. S&P 500 futures had been pointing, they were about 1.5% down before Trump's post, and then they jumped up 2.3%. So they were actually up about 4% within minutes, a swing of nearly 4 percentage points. Dow Jones futures rocketed 1,100 points, and then this is the key one here. Brent crude plunged as much as 14% intraday. We'll come on to why that's so important when we come on to our next story. By the close, the indices had paired gains, with Dow finishing up 631 points and the S&P 500 up about 1.15 points. We did say we were live during this event. We go live every day 2 hours before the opening bell and for the market open. I did say that event, when that tweet came out, or that truth post came out, we did say, careful guys, because this is probably going to fade later on the day because there's no actual reports of Iran and Yeah, this is the return of the taco trade essentially. By the close, the indices had paired up, but the sheer volatility of the move reflected how much war premium is baked into current prices. And here is what's important: Tehran is not agreeing. So Tehran's response was a swift and categorical. Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, the very person, and this is the person that the Israeli media have been saying this is the person that Trump is speaking to. He then posted on X saying, and this is allegedly the person that Trump is speaking to about the deal, because remember, uh, the US's biggest ally, Israel, has said that this is the person they're speaking to, and or at least their media has. And he came on X, Mohammed, the Speaker of the Parliament, he came out and said no negotiations have been held with the US, and accused Washington of deploying fake news to manipulate financial and oil markets. Iran Foreign Ministry did acknowledge receiving messages from some friendly countries, but said these were handled in line with existing positions, suggesting back channel messaging passing occurred, but nothing close to formal negotiations. So they're saying we've had our normal contact through the back channels. Our friendly nations are mediating that, but that's just what's always been happening. Nothing formal has been happening. The oil markets recovered after the denials, settling down 7 to 10% rather than 14%. This morning, when we're recording this on Tuesday, the rally is already unwinding. The S&P 500 futures are down about 0.5%, and crude oil is climbing back towards around $103 after the Wall Street Journal reported that Gulf allies are inching towards joining the fight. So now we're seeing potentially the United Arab Emirates and that Saudi Arabia actually wanting offensive actions now as well. The war is now in its 24th day, with over 2,300 Iranian civilians killed, 13 more US service members dead, and the Pentagon seeking 200 billion in supplemental war funding. This is a pattern. Trump set a tariff deadline in China in 2025 and blinked. He set an ultimatum on TikTok and then extended it. Now he set a 48-hour deadline on Iran and replaced it with a 5-day pause. Markets rallied each time on the retreat, and each time the underlying problem remained. Meanwhile, the Pentagon has submitted ground invasion plans, and the 82nd Airborne is being prepared. Another 2,500 Marines shipped out last week. You do not deploy ground forces if you are 5 days away from a deal. And that's what I want to make clear. Now, let's move on to the second part, which is probably the more interesting part. You can see this is our daily newsletter. You get all the key stories. That's the Fed looking to increase interest rates, Berkshire Hathaway with their next purchase. We're looking at the AI deal, AI calling. We like to cover the AI stories that are not just the headline AI stories, but the more important ones. So you get all those stories there, and then we come on to our deep dive. The $580 million bet inside the trap that hit 15 minutes before Trump's Iran post. Here's where it gets a bit crazy, but not unexpected. Someone made a very well timed bet on Monday morning. In the 60 seconds between 6:49 a.m. and 6:50 a.m. New York time, roughly 6,200 Brent crude and West Texas Intermediate WTI futures contracts changed hands. The notional value was approximately 580 million. Trading volume surged 27 seconds before 6:50 a.m. in what was otherwise a dead quiet pre-market window with no scheduled data releases, no central bank speakers, and no breaking news. That's when that happened, and that's what makes it even more crazy. If we can make the argument if there was data being released, or if we had OPEC meeting, or if we were expecting a deadline that second to come out, then we can say, okay, there was raised trading volumes, but this was out of average, 10 times over average, and completely random. Bloomberg data shows volumes in that 2-minute window represented contracts on at least 6 million barrels of oil, compared to an average about 700,000. That's about 10 times more than the average during the same period over the prior 5 trading days. This is roughly 9 times normal activity. 15 minutes later at 7:04 a.m., Donald Trump posted in all caps on Truth Social that the United States and Iran have held very good, productive um, conversations over the weekend. He ordered the Pentagon to pause all strikes on Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for 5 days. Oil prices immediately collapsed. Brent crude fell from 109 to a low of 92. WTI dropped from 98 to $86. The S&P 500 surged more than 2.5% before the opening bell. By some estimates, the oil position alone could have generated over 100 million in profits within 20 minutes. Some suggest way more than 100 million, but imagine $100 million made in 20 minutes. Then Iran denied everything, and roughly half those gains vanished. So let's continue, because here you can see a chart from the Financial Times, the volume spike. Trading volumes in both oil and equity futures surged in a 1 minute window at 6:50 a.m. You can see that surge on the chart right before the main surge. 15 minutes before Truth Social post. So you can see a big surge, and then you got the announcement. So what happened in that 1 minute window? The oil trades were only one leg of what appears to have been a coordinated position. Trading platform Unusual Whales flagged that the S&P 500 futures worth approximately 1.5 billion were bought during the same pre-market window, positioning for a rally. So it looks like they bought the S&P 500 as well. At the same time, roughly 192 million in oil futures were sold, positioning for a drop in crude. CNBC confirms that the S&P 500 E-mini futures on the CME recorded an isolated jump in volume around 6:50 a.m., breaking from a subdued pre-market backdrop, and described it as one of the largest volume momentums of the session up to that point. No one knows whether a single entity or multiple participants were behind the trades. What is known is the context. There was nothing on the calendar that morning to justify aggressive positioning. No economic data, no Federal Reserve speakers, no event of any kind. A hedge fund portfolio manager with 25 years experience described the activity as highly abnormal, and noted that there was simply no reason for the trade of that size on a quiet Monday morning. A market strategist at a US brokerage told the Financial Times, the timing naturally raises questions about who would have been aggressively selling futures 15 minutes before the president's post, and that's the post that he put out. The White House denied any wrongdoing. Deputy Press Secretary Kush Desai said the administration does not tolerate official profiteering from insider knowledge, and calls the implications baseless and irresponsible reporting. So I apologize. Maybe I'm doing baseless and irresponsible reporting. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, declined to comment. CME Group did not respond to inquiries. This is a counter argument worth addressing. Tim Skirrow, head of derivatives at energy consulting Energy Aspects, pointed out that Brent futures and options markets have seen significant inflows over recent weeks, with nearly everyone positioned long on oil. When the market's crowded in one direction, even a small trigger can cause violent moves. That is a fair structural point, and that is true that crude was primed for a sharp sell-off, but it does not explain who decided to be the one selling into that crowded trade at 6:49 on a day with nothing on the horizon, and got it exactly right. Of course, if the markets are up and everyone's long on oil, there's going to be an opportunity for a short, but only if the news suggests there's an opportunity for the short and someone shorted it 15 minutes before. But this is a pattern that nobody can ignore. This is not an isolated incident. And I'm sure many people, when they saw that tweet, just like I asked my live chat earlier this morning, did you have the same thoughts as me? Let me know in the comments below. Um, we saw that tweet yesterday, that truth post that said the war's ending, and we all thought, there's probably someone's profiting from this announcement, because we've seen the market fall 10% and the stocks go up 4%. So someone's probably profiting, because this Truth Social post has brought in a lot of volatility no one is expecting. So we all had a suspicion: is there any insider trading going on? Again, there's no strict evidence there is, but there is very weird things going on. with the trades. So, and we've seen this before. This is not an isolated incident. It is the latest in a series of large, well timed trades that have preceded major US government announcements over the past year. In April 2025, hours before announcing his Liberation Day tariff pause, Trump posted, "This is a great time to buy" on a Truth Social. Markets had begun. Sorry, markets had been in free fall for a week. The pause sent them soaring, with the S&P 500 gaining 9.5% in a single session. Former White House ethics lawyer Richard Painter noted that securities law prohibits trading on insider information or helping others to do so. Senator Adam Schiff and over a dozen House Democrats called for an investigation. When asked about the timing, Kush to say the same spokesperson denying the current allegations defended the post as part of the president's responsibility to reassure markets. Another one. In January 2026, hours before the US military captured Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, a brand new Polymarket account bet 32,000 that Maduro will be ousted by January 31st. They made $500,000 off of 32,000. The account had no prior history and only placed bets related to Venezuela and Maduro removal. Dennis Keller, CEO of Better Market, said that he had all the hallmarks of a trade based on insider information. New account, never traded before, comes in, somehow knows a lot about Venezuela and Maduro's removal, gets the exact day right, slaps £32,000 dollar bet on, and walks away with 500,000. Yeah, it's. I mean, how do you know that? At the start of the Iran war on February the 28th, 6 Polymarket wallets collectively netted 1.2 million by correctly betting on a US strike by the exact date. Most were funded within 24 hours of the attack. The largest single wallet turned 61,000 into 500,000. And just this past Sunday, the day before Trump's Monday post, CoinDesk reported that 10 brand new Polymarket wallets with no prior transaction history wagered a cumulative 160,000 on US Iran ceasefire by the end of the March. And remember, the ceasefire doesn't actually have to happen. They will make money on that bet because the odds will increase once that tweet came out. And we've seen it happen before. Liberation Day tariff pause. We saw the Truth Social, Venezuela, Iran war launch, the Iran ceasefire, oil futures. But no one's investigating. The Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which oversees both futures markets and prediction markets, has about 1/8 of the staff from the SEC. We're going to skip this part over here and go over to what, if you want to go about why no one's investigating, you can go and look at it in the newsletter. Prediction markets are now pricing in the war to end somewhere between April the 30th and May the 31st. We're looking at potentially the first week of May. And here's the taco problem. All of this sits inside a broader pattern that Wall Street has named taco. For Trump, always chickens out. The term was coined by Financial Times columnist Robert Armstrong in May 2025, and it describes what has become the most reliable trade of the past year. Trump escalates, markets panic, then Trump reverses before the damage gets too deep. It played out with tariffs, with China, with Greenland, now Iran. On Saturday, Trump issued the 48-hour ultimatum, and he went back on it. But Iran's taco has a structural problem that the tariff taco did not. It takes two to taco. Trump can unilaterally lower a tariff, but he cannot unilaterally end a war when the other side is still mining the Strait of Hormuz, denying any communication took place and calling the whole thing a market manipulation scheme. Iran's parliament speaker, the man Israeli officials identified as Trump's alleged negotiator partner, posted on X that no talks have occurred and fake news is used to manipulate the financial markets and oil markets. Iranian media has been running its own analysis of the exact pattern. Their claim is that Trump escalates on Fridays near market close. This might be true, this might not be, but this is how their analysis of it. Trump escalates on Friday near the close, matches up threats over the weekend, and then sends a calming message before Monday's open. The same sequence played out on the first week of the war, when oil spiked to 120 barrels on Friday, and then the IEA strategic reserve releases while Trump said the war was almost over on Monday morning. The same playbook just repeated almost beat for beat. The 5-day pause conveniently runs through Friday's market close. Remember, we've got a 5-day pause right now. Conveniently, it's after Friday market close. It also happens to coincide with the arrival of the USS Tripoli amphibious assault group on Wednesday. Meanwhile, senior military officials are weighing deployment of the 82nd Airborne Division Immediate Response Forces, 3,000 soldiers capable of deploying anywhere within 18 hours, whose training exercise at Fort Polk, Louisiana was abruptly cancelled to keep them ready for real world orders. The USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group has departed San Diego with approximately 4,000 service members. Additional amphibious groups en route bring expected deployments to approximately 8,000 Marines, on top of the 50,000 US troops already in the Middle East. Over 35 C-17 cargo flights have already left US bases since March, heading towards the region. None of that sounds like de-escalation. It sounds like potentially buying time. It sounds like buying time. He's buying time right now. So the bottom line, there was a pattern forming around the administration that goes well beyond single suspicious trade. The Trump meme coin, launched 3 days before inauguration, surged over 300% and has since generated more than $350 million in fees for Trump affiliated entities, according to Financial Times analysts and blockchain analytics from Chain Analysis. On chain data shows a wallet funded with $1 million 4 hours before the token's launch, buying $5.9 million worth of tokens in the first minute, then selling $20 million while retaining $86 million in holdings. Moments before Melania Trump publicly announced her own token, 24 wallets rapidly purchased large quantities, netting a collective $99 million per Financial Times investigation. The SEC issued guidance stating meme coins do not qualify as securities, effectively shielding the projects from scrutiny. Then came Liberation Day. Then came Venezuela. Then came the Iran strike. Now the $580 million in oil futures. Each incident can be explained in its own explained away. Together, they form something that looks less like coincidence and more like a business model. The people tasked with investigating this, the SEC, the CFTC, and the Justice Department, are either understaffed, captured, or both. Nobody's looking at the receipts. But the biggest story, put aside the potential insider trading, is the taco trade that may have finally met its match. Tariffs can be reversed with a post. Wars cannot. Iran has denied all talks. The Strait of Hormuz still has at least a dozen naval mines in it. The 82nd Airborne is on standby. Amphibious assault groups are converging in the Persian Gulf. The head of the IEA has publicly stated this crisis is worse than 1973 and 1979 combined. The 5-day pause expires on Friday, and when it does, either real negotiations materialize or the ladder um, escalation ladders has another rug to climb. The taco trade has worked every single time for over a year, but the moment it stops working in a live shooting war with 50,000 troops in theater and more on the way, the losses will not be the kind that bounce back on Monday morning. That's our reporting on it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for tuning in. Check out the newsletter. I'll put 2 videos up here and the newsletter 50% off link there. You get all the stories, the deep dives, my trades. I'll keep you up to date on that as well. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye bye. Okay, so I'm going to end the show now, send you straight to Vaz. I think he's starting 10 minutes before. Yeah, he will be starting now. So I'm sure he's waiting for me to end. So let me end the show. And Vaz is live. Yeah. Okay, I'm sending everyone to Vaz now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be careful, be ready. Volatility this week. The war might end, and that would be brilliant. War's not good for anyone. Be prepared for it. But we might also be heading into an escalation. Let me just make sure. As soon as I see Vaz live, I'll send you guys to him. Great. It takes 2 to taco. Yeah, it's a good line, isn't it? It takes 2 to taco. I call that smart. The contacts talk to many YouTubers maybe already. His cult members see no issue with crypto and insider trading. Good morning. Has anyone seen the new training videos? I was on Cento's motto. No, it's not. It's not out yet. I'll tell you when it's out. Motto. It was never going to be today. Cody, I will be telling you about them very soon. Thank you, Sensei. Yeah, we're going over to Vaz. He's live now. Thank you, everyone. He's got his 2-minute timer on. I'm going to give you the link to Vaz's show. So let me copy that across. There is the link. So I'm going to put next. Let me end the poll and then I'll send you over to Vaz. So there we go. End the poll. Post. Yeah, you guys can click that link now and go over. Replace pin message. Yes. Replace pin message. I call that smart. Takes 2 to tango. Good morning. Cheers, Sensei. No worry, guys. And the poll. Was this Trump trade based on advanced knowledge of Trump's posts? Yes. Trump's team says 56% of people. Yes, they leaked info maybe to a bank, a little text message. 20% of people. Maybe, hope not, says 17%. No, Trump would never. Only 7 people said Trump would never. Thanks, guys. I will be live tomorrow, chart training course and a Discord integration all happening by the end of the week. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Go straight to Vaz. I've put the link as pinned. Stay where you are and you'll go there as well. Check out the 50% deal. Vaz is live with the most important earnings call for vertical aerospace because it's getting very tight for vertical. Go over to Vaz, see what that's all about. And he will also be going into the opening bell, I believe. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Stay where you are. Click on the link. Vaz is live.